So let me tell you about, first I want to tell you about I remember that my life used to be one train wreck after another one. I mean, just a mess. And I didn't know why. And so, for an example, when I would break up with one girl, I could not break up with a woman unless I had another one waiting. And that's so true, I don't even know what to tell you about it. Because breaking up with her was so painful. It was like I would be sad. I would have to drive all the way down from LA to Santa Barbara, going out the Pacific Coast Highway with sad music, grooving on a Sunday afternoon, crying. And so I would, all the way that I can avoid going through that, I would have to have another girlfriend and waiting. Because when I had girlfriends, I was crazy. I know you guys were not, right? I remember one time I had this really, I'm using this word because that's what it is, fine girlfriend. You know what fine means, right? And I thought, I mean, she had me dating basketball players and the Laker team and everybody. Not the whole team. But she was pretty, she had an amazing body, and I started dating her, and she fell in love with me, and I fell in love with her. And so she would come up to my job, and at the time I worked at the hospital, and I would literally walk her all over the hospital just so people could see me with her. I would take her down to the cafeteria just to be seen with. That's how crazy I was. I know nobody else is that crazy in a relationship. I'm different. And so, in order to break up with her, and then I was really happy that she had been dating the Laker team. Not the whole team, but guys from the Laker basketball team. Because I really felt I had something special then, you know, in my crazy days. And so, but there came a time when we had to break up, I could hardly handle it. And so I would find another girlfriend, and so I messed around with her. So that made it a little easier to break up with this. Anybody ever had that problem? Yeah, right on. And so I would get another girlfriend, and then things would happen because they don't last. For some reason, they're like all fun when you first meet, and you think this is a lifetime, I'm gonna marry this one. And then later on, you start fighting. And so, other decisions that I would make, they didn't turn out well. And another mess, you know, I made wrong decisions. But now I realized what I was doing that I didn't know now, I was consulting with thoughts. And what the thoughts would tell me to do, they're like, oh, this is the right one. This woman is from God, because I used to ask God to give me one. And then when I would get her, I realized it wasn't from God. And then Satan would say, well, go to church or go somewhere and meet another one. And so I would go and meet another one. And then that would seem fine. And then after a while, that didn't happen. But I would always go to thoughts. And they would consult me on where to look, go to the bar or go to this place. And everything they told me to do was wrong. It never worked out. So my life was just one train wreck after another one. Same thing with friends and things like that. Oh, this is a good friend. Or these people are good to hang around with. I was still consulting with thoughts. And I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I thought it was me telling me those things. But it wasn't. And it was just one mess after another. And that didn't stop until God gave me the understanding about thoughts. Then that ended. Because I stopped believing the thoughts about anything. And I noticed that they would, it's like when these young ladies were saying, they would try to tell you one thing after another. Do this, and this was a good one. And the Lord gave you this one, but I was consulting with thoughts. And what I didn't know that I do now is that all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. And so what happened as you wake up, as you become conscious, what really does happen is that you become less, you are isolated from thoughts, from the imagination. Consciousness is isolated from the imagination. And you will start to just, I don't know where I'm at with this, but you would get to the point where the only thing you would think would be is conscious, and you have little or no relationship with the imagination, with thoughts. The thoughts that you only have are practical thoughts. I need to eat this way, like the young lady was saying, I can't eat certain meals, or I need to go to the gym. But you would be isolated from, the consciousness will isolate you from the imagination. And you will have no relationship with imagination. And you're going to be mind-blown at how the thoughts, the imagination rule over your whole life. And that's the only reason things have been horrible in your life, because we were listening to the devil and didn't know it. No one told us that. We were so connected. And people push the emotions and they push thoughts until you think that that's the way it's supposed to be. Everybody else does it. Everybody else is very emotional. Oh, my heart goes out to you. Kind of mess, right? And we automatically think that's how we're supposed to respond. And as a result, you are not being your real self. You're being an illusion. You're being a false self, a showcase personality. Because all thoughts are all lies all the time. They're never true about anything. I don't care what you've done, how bad it seemed, when it happened. It's not real. It's just thoughts. And so that's why it's so good that this year we've had this homework to do, assignments and things, because hopefully it helps you to stay present. And the more present you stay, the more you become one with the light. And you start to see that, wow, that was a mistake listening to those thoughts like that. And when they do come, and they still try to come sometimes, they don't bother you. You see that they're there, but no big deal. You cannot, because consciousness, awareness, will not let you respond to them. It won't let you. It divides you, it isolates you from them. The Spirit of the Father is more than what I can even tell you. But you got to be serious about this, and you got to practice being present at all times, and then resist going along with the thoughts. Just don't do them. And they want you to react because that's how they stay alive in you. If you don't react to them, but just be aware of them and just die daily from them, they will die. It's so crazy, not crazy like crazy, but interesting how that is. You're just a ball full of thoughts, and that's it. All thoughts. Ain't nothing real about you. Nothing that's happening to you is real. You have no problems or nothing. It's just thoughts. They're just thoughts. And then, because of awareness, you're going to stay out of other people's business. You're going to let them live however they want to live and have no opinion about it at all, because now you will have understanding. You will know it's not them. That's the same thing that you're overcoming. You will know that that's what's driving them. And if they try to attack you or whatever they try, it wouldn't bother you. As long as it's not physical. It wouldn't, but you wouldn't give in to them, and you wouldn't hate them for it, because you would know it's not them. But you got to stay with this so you could be, that's why isolation is good sometimes, to just be by yourself in the physical way. Be in the room by yourself. Feel the pain of not having any distraction at all. When you first wake up in the morning, don't just pick up the cell phone and start looking at the cell phone. Get up in fear. Get up with the thought telling you, you got to rush. Get up with doubt. Get up with whatever thing going on, and just be aware of it and live with it and let the light take care of it, and He will. He'll handle it. But you got to surrender to that all the way. and be scared, be worried, and all that kind of stuff, but don't call it you. And you will start to see, and I can't believe I'm telling y'all, I'm black and slow. I can't believe I'm telling you this, but because you're here, you know that there's some truth in this, because you see what has already happened in your life. You know that. So I'm telling you, you gotta let whatever happens just happen. For an example, and I wrote this down because I had this conversation with some people. So, let me see, how could I put this because they're watching? It's like your mother's watching. So they got angry at some other people. And so I'm sitting there observing them getting angry. And I'm like, I watch and let them argue back and forth and they yell at each other or whatever, right? And both of them are supposed to be working on their lives. And so I observed it and I let it happen. And when I was able to talk to one of the people alone, I asked him, I'm like, were you angry? No, I wasn't angry. I wasn't angry. And so why did you say what you said to that person then? Why did you yell out like that? Why you scream out like that? Well, I didn't want them to think that I was weak. And so that's why I screamed like that. I spoke up like that. Or I didn't want them to spoil my reputation. That's why, because I didn't want you all thinking certain thing about me, they said. And I don't want to spoil my reputation. And I said, so you didn't see that you were angry? And then they said, well, yeah, I saw that. I saw anger was there, but I didn't go with it. I didn't react to it, they say. So I'm like, but what are you reacting when you yell back? When you responded at all? And they were like, but that was like, I didn't want them to mess up my reputation. And so what I realized from that conversation, so I started asking other people, of course. And what I realized is that Satan would cause you to be angry, and then you know now not to react. So in your mind, you're not overreacting emotionally, but Satan still tell you to respond in one way or another because, they're gonna mess up your reputation. They're gonna make you look weak. Satan's telling them all that, and they don't even know that Satan's telling them, giving them excuses. That's how wicked and clever the thought is. The thought tells you to fight back because you're gonna look weak. Fight back because of your reputation. But if you didn't have any of that going on, you would never have to fight back. What's the purpose of having a reputation? What is that anyway, right? What's the purpose of trying to look strong if you are weak? Why? Why not just let whatever happen to the ego? But most people won't do that. And they'll just say, well, I didn't overreact. Yes, you did. You overreact. You argue with the person, or you try to protect something so that other people wouldn't see you in a certain way. You're still overreacting. Why not just be quiet and let people feel, say what they want? Why are you concerned about someone thinking you're weak or strong? But you don't know that you are still listening to the devil. You think those ideas that he's giving you to defend what happened are your ideas, and they're not. You and I and no one has ever had their own idea about anything. It's thoughts. They cling to us and they get involved with everything that you do. You can wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to the gym right now. And they say, why not wait until a little later? The gym is crowded. Or something, and you'll listen to that. You got to be isolated from thoughts, from the imagination. They're not your own. And they're not your friend. And you will get to that point where you will have no relationship no identity with the physical self at all. The body will just be a body and not you at all. But you got to pay attention to that. You got to be aware of what the devil is telling you and not give. I tell people and not give in to them. I tell people all the time, let people yell at you. Let them say what they want to say about you. Anything that can happen to the ego, let it happen. But the first time someone offend you or say something about you, right away the devil says, what they going to think about you? How you look. And you're automatically reacting instead of going through that and don't react to it. Because you still think it's happening to you and it's not. So you got to watch those thoughts so that eventually the light, the spirit of truth will isolate you from the darkness. And then it will just take them all away. Eventually you're not going to have any darkness in you at all. You will only have the light. Because the darkness and the light cannot dwell in the same place. You will only have that, but you got to let the darkness go and stop identifying. Any question about that? So stop defending anger. When you do get mad, just, you know what, that was stupid. I got angry. Don't let me, I got angry because. Don't put a because there. You disrespected me. Or you said this to me in front of everybody else. Or the wife would get mad at the husband. You talked like that to me in front of my friends. Or the family. Or the husband would get mad. You disrespected me. That's why I got mad. That's another lie. There's no one there to disrespect. Respecting one another is just an idea. Why do you want somebody to respect you? Why? How many people want people to respect you? You're not going to say no. You do? Say for 3 honest people. Can I get 4? No, 4. No, 5. I knew Satan would raise her hand in a minute. So why do you want someone to respect you?
Because I feel like I was a pushover for so long, and I feel that that's something that I'm overcoming. But I can give you an example of what happened yesterday.
Okay.
So I go to AA meetings, and I was passing the little offering basket, and one of the guys he threw a $20 bill, but it fell like it didn't fall inside. Usually people like put it inside the basket, and he just kind of threw it from far, and it didn't fall inside. So when I gave him change, I didn't give it to him in his hand. I threw it at him too. And yeah, so. But at the moment, like, you know, the thoughts were telling me like he's disrespecting you. He's throwing money. Like if I was, yeah.
The thoughts told him that, and look how he reacted. With the love in that, the person could have not even realized what had happened. Yeah. And even if they were being mean about it, just pick it up and give it back to them or whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
The thoughts tell you that. Isn't that amazing?
And I felt like my heart was pounding and like adrenaline was rushing too. So
that's the thrill.
Yeah, the thrill.
Yeah.
And then
that's amazing.
And then he went up and started like talking about me. So I just created another enemy. So
he talked about you?
Yeah, bad.
About what had happened?
Yeah.
And how did you deal with that?
I didn't care.
He was in the meeting and he did that?
Yeah, we're all
beautiful.
Yeah.
And how did you handle it?
I felt silly for doing it. I knew I was wrong, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do y'all understand? The thoughts told him, this guy dropped it on the floor. He doesn't care about you. He's not respecting you, for example. And so he just took the money and threw the change at the guy.
Yeah.
See how wrong that is? Those are thoughts. Yeah. But if you didn't have this idea that you need to be respected, it would be no such thing as disrespect. The real you is not being disrespected. It's the fake you. Their ego fighting with your ego. 2 devils fighting. The real you don't need respect. Don't even want it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So next time something like that happens, feel the pain, but do the right thing. Amazing. That's a good example too. What a mess.